Good afternoon and welcome to this month's OGV Energy Live. My name is Eric Doyle and I'll be your guide through today on this interactive live show, which is all about bringing you the very latest insight and news from the energy sector by bringing to life the UK's leading energy industry publication, of course, OGV Energy magazine. Each month we have interviews and discussions with our partners from the publication and we update you on all the latest news and opinions. This show is nothing without your involvement. So we really need you guys to get involved with the show. Please be ready to jump in with your questions and your comments, your thoughts, your observations, and anything else you might like to ask our guests or talk about our guests, and don't be shy at all. It might be a good idea to start by saying hello. Tell us where you are in the world, who you work with. This is a little chance to run a little mini advert for your company. If there's something that you put in the comments that I can put to our guests, I definitely will do that. So let's make sure we get them to work for their supper today. And something new for this month, OGV Energy have put forward that the best comment or question of the day will win the opportunity to have an advert or an article of your choice in the July edition of OGV Energy magazine. So your simple act of putting a lovely comment in there, a well thought out comment to one of our guests today, could put you in the running for this prize, which is an excellent prize, not to be missed at all. So jump in, tell us who you are, tell us who you work with, tell us where you are in the world, and remember and keep chiming in with our asset integrity guests as we go through. So yeah, this month is all about asset integrity. It's the asset integrity issue of the magazine. So we're going to be welcoming guests and contributors who featured in the publication, starting with our headline guest and then moving on to our industry spotlight section, featuring James Fair from Vitasi, Fraser Balsillie from PIM, and Will Buchan from Arnley Systems. We're then going to move through to welcome the CEO of Energy Industries Council, Stuart Broadley, who will be telling us all about an upcoming energy export conference at the PNJ Live in June. And then we're going to switch to our Market Watch segment with Teresa Wilkie at Westwood Global Energy Group and from Neil Golden at the Energy Industries Council, before doing a roundup of community news with Cheryl Newman at Appetite for Business, Angela Scott from QHSE Aberdeen, Lee Reid from BD Manager at AMS Global. What a show we have in store. But first to our headline guest, who is well versed in the topic of asset integrity, having been immersed in the field for well over 20 years. From his days as an inspection engineer with CAN, to his time as an integrity engineer with Talisman, to BP, to Dana Petroleum, and into senior integrity roles with the likes of Dubai Petroleum. These days, when he's not focused on juggling the responsibilities of being the father of a squad of young children, you'll find him in his role as a director with GDI. It is, of course, Gareth McIntyre. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Eric. How are you doing?
Very good indeed. Great to have you here. How's your week been?
It's been good. It's an average week, so everything from steady and cool to running about with our hair on fire. So
the whole gamut, right? The whole gamut of everything. Just to let you know, James has come in. James has set the standard. He's letting us know about a very interesting forum on June the 2nd in Accra, West Africa, the Well Engineering Forum. Thank you for setting the standard for comments there, James. Thank you very much. Please jump in and follow James's example. At least we have one person that's listening, right? We know that for sure. I had a brief look at your history, and of course we had a little chat through from your days as an inspection engineer with CAN. You were pressure vessels and all that kind of stuff. You were rolling, as you put it, rolling about in pressure vessels back in the day.
Yeah, that's right. Graduated with a degree in artificial intelligence from Robert Gordon's University, and probably because I'm an Aberdonian, I ended up in the oil industry. So started off with CAN offshore, fantastic company. Mm-hmm. Worked up through CAN, ended up working for operators, and then circled back from my time in the Middle East to being part of the growth of GDI.
Fantastic. And did you ever think when you were rolling about in old pressure vessels around the world and doing your thing that you would end up here?
No, and vice versa, I guess. You know, studying artificial intelligence and robotics, there was a definite part of me who thought, while standing in a separator, where's my life going? But no, it's been a great journey. For me, I've been blessed with hands-on experience, service company, operators. So it's steered me well.
Very good, very good. I'm not quite sure. I was giving your due credit by calling your family a squad, but you do have a large family of young kids right now, so that probably takes up most of your time when you're not busy with GDI, right?
That's right. Yeah, three young daughters under the age of 6. So
Oh my
yeah,
word!
I'm alone in my house as the only male, and I there's a lot of talking in my house. Put it that way. And I
Do you
just
realise that that's probably going to be on average a 6 year period of 3 weddings that you have to pay for? Let's not talk about
Yeah,
that.
let's not talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So congratulations on the front page and the headline feature in this month's OGV Energy magazine. I was particularly taken by the headline, "Safe Fit Like to GDI's automated flange fitting solution."
Yeah,
I thought that was genius. Who came up with that?
Yeah, that was a bit of humour. It was our marketing team. So yeah, we always try and strike the balance. Actually, we're a relatively quiet business, but we like to, where we can, put a bit of humour into what we do and personality.
Quite right too.
Where possible.
Brilliant, and good on you for doing that. That is superb. For those who don't know, can you give us a wee bit of insight into what it is that GDI are focusing on and what it is that you're sort of where you're pointed right now in this asset integrity world?
Yeah, so with specific reference to asset integrity, I think we have a number of touch points in this space. The article that the front page and the article in the OGV magazine is about our automated engineering solution. That drives value in the remedial side of asset integrity. So you have the inspection and the risk assessment program, but ultimately sometimes things need fixed. It's where GDI came from. It's where we noticed the gap in the market, and that solution in itself is the start of a fairly rapid and progressive journey for us. So that tool that we talk about in the magazine is just the beginning of this journey for us. And the nature of what we do is about big data capture and sharing that data across all service companies, whether it's inspection, integrity, engineering. So we have a number of touch points across the asset integrity lifecycle.
Very good, very good. And geographically, where are you most sort of concentrated, or where are you pointing these days across the globe?
So North Sea based. So,
right.
but our success story in the North Sea is we're proud of. So we have the majority of the North Sea in our software solution, GDI Vision. That's still growing, and our users. We recently published that we've topped over 10,000 individual users of our system. So there's a lot of good news that we're talking about specifically in the North Sea globally. So we've got growing operations in the Gulf of Mexico, West Africa, and we're soon to announce a really exciting new project in the Middle East, more specifically Qatar. So for us, these are all the opportunity and sort of exciting ventures that we're currently on.
Outstanding. When you go back to rolling about on the floor of pressure vessels and thinking, 20 years ago, what was cutting edge and the leading edge of asset integrity kind of thoughts, processes, technology, and all of that, then the void of where we are now, when you look at the kind of things that you guys are doing, we'll come to GDI Vision in a second here, but what was cutting edge and leading edge then through to what is cutting edge and leading edge now in asset integrity, we've come quite a long way, right?
And it's only accelerating. But you're absolutely right. I think there's a few key contributors to that formula. There was downturns,
right.
which really sharpened the pencils. The oil industry or the energy industry, peaks and troughs. When everything's going good, nobody wants to change because everyone's happy. When it starts going bad, everyone just wants to cut as hard as possible. But what happened, and there was a few key events, the likes of the OGTC, as they once were known, now they're known as the Net Zero Technology Centre, they were created, and we were one of the first projects to take off the ground with them, and they really accelerated technology development and deployment, at least in the North Sea, and there was that formula of pressure in the industry of cost reductions and also investment from the government to create innovation. Furthermore, what's happened, COVID landed. So as a business, we grew within COVID,
Right.
based on the premise that we were already attempting to leverage technology to remove people from having to travel to these places and automate some of the workflows. So COVID's been an accelerator as well, and clearly a horrific part of our lives. But there is things that have changed indefinitely because of that, and innovation adoption's one of those elements.
Very good, very good. Yeah, well said. Let's just take a check in with some of the folks that are coming in there. We've got the lovely Stuart Henderson, who's come in and said good afternoon all from RCP Limited, based in sunny Aberdeenshire. Not quite Houston or South Africa weather. Looking forward to hearing from all the speakers, which is great. Thank you for that. Johnny Snelling from I think it must be from Fatasi, UK, saying hi. That's great. We've got, where have we got? We've got Natasha. The Vitasi team are right behind this show. They're all over it. They are here. And we've got Paul from Arnley over in Houston saying hi as well. And we've got just finally here, hi from Setco Petroleum Services in the Middle East, presently Cairo. Nice to have you, Tarek. Just remember, we've got, let me see, we've got about another 10 minutes with Gareth here from GDI, our headline speaker. If you've got a question for him on what he's talking about and what he's going to be talking about, put it in the comment section there. And just remember, throughout the show, we're looking for the best comment or question today for our guests. And OGV Energy are going to stump up a free article or a free advert, a half page in the July issue of the magazine. How great is that? Absolutely fantastic. Terrific. So back to you, Gareth. We've spoken a bit about the past and where the industry's come. Where does our foresight take us? Where does the horizon look like for GDI and for asset integrity as a whole? What's the future looking like?
For GDI, I mean, our strategy is quite clear. We want to continue to leverage the data sets that we gather and the integrations with the service companies that we work with to drive value to our end clients. You know, at the end of the day, if we can be more efficient and drive cost reductions to our clients, then they have more capital, more bandwidth to invest in the infrastructure, green technologies, etc. So we really want to keep that win-win formula in place. And as a business, we're looking globally to expand in a number of different ways. The future of asset integrity, I mean, the easy answer, the stock answer is to say data and tech is the future. To be a wee bit more potentially controversial on that question, I think we're going to get to a place where there's some base fundamentals that are going to be challenged. A big part of asset integrity is the premise of RBI.
Right.
I think that premise is going to be challenged out, and we're going to move to a place where it's recognized that could be made redundant. And that's a very technical aspect.
You just announced the end of risk-based inspection.
I think that's a potential.
Anyone want to jump in on that? Anyone agree, disagree? That's an absolute cracker. Why do you think that?
A number of reasons. Is it actually driving value currently? And that's again controversial. And
you're dropping bombs here. I love it. Fantastic. Mic drop moments.
Yeah. Is there avenues out of that? And in fact, to back up what I'm saying, the NZTC, so the body, one of their ambitions is to challenge that aspect actually. So it's not fully controversial that, no. But I guess speaking to a forum with asset integrity, I might be now ripped apart. But
not at all. Not at all. Not at all. No. Any comments on that? That is an excellent thought process. So moving forward, whether the future is RBI or not, or what it might be, where does the whole GDI thing fit into the asset integrity sort of value chain? Where do you fit in?
So I guess at the very start of GDI, we fitted where we saw the repair side of the asset integrity life cycle being very inefficiently executed.
Right.
You had budgets that were in the tens of millions for remedials being managed via spreadsheets. And that's not saying that's a bad thing, it's just not optimal. So our approach was to change that and to effectively, and it's a bland approach, a bland statement, but to digitize it. And that's where our vision software came from. So we fit in from regards to complete digitization rapidly. So all the assets that we've captured in the North Sea have digital twins, and those digital twins are brownfield asset integrity focused. So what we do is we can ascertain condition remotely without sending anyone offshore. That's our first value proposition. So we're touching the inspection space. And on the remedial space, we're touching is with regards to the ability to effectively plan remedials. So working in a digital twin environment, driving significant efficiencies and strategic approaches into remedial planning. And then finally, when remedials are to be executed, that's our front cover element. Our automation kicks in and we're highly efficient in the execution of engineering, design, fabrication, and offshore construction. The success story in that space is that we've executed well over 5,000 individual projects.
Crikey.
They are everything ranging from small like-for-like spool replacements up to major capital projects. And we've only ever had 3 fail to fits. We believe that's industry leading, potentially, best in the world. It's very hard to get stats in these places, but it's something that we're very proud of. And it's not doable without the investment that we've made in our workflows and in our technology.
Fantastic. You've kicked the hornet's nest on RBI, as for sure. Let's have a little look at what's coming in. I think the first person to come in, first of all, it was a nice comment about your expansion plans. Hello from a question for Gareth. Unfortunately, it's coming in from LinkedIn user, so we can't see. And do you have any plans to expand in the Asia Pac region, maybe specifically Indonesia, where this person is from?
Not currently. However, we have early stage contacts in the region. So not operational plans as today, but I guess the ground is being broken, and we're having conversations in the region with regards to operational deployment.
Very good. Thanks for that. We've got a great question from Sid. Hi, Gareth. We speak a lot about solutions and how good they can be. But how important do you think culture is ensuring the success of deployment? Would you rate culture as the most important aspect of the success criteria? Great question.
Yeah, fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's pivotal. I mean, one of the main barriers for deploying our approach and technology is perceived risk in change.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest mitigators to that is a cultural one. So if you have an organization which is open to innovation and change, which is significant, I mean, change for a human is a difficult thing. If you can cultivate that culture, then you will obviously reap the benefits of innovation and change. We try and mitigate that just by our approach, and our approach is we're a reserved business. We're not very flashy, but we take people through how we do things in a sort of logical and steady manner, and we find that's the best approach. But doing disruptive, and I don't like that word, but doing disruptive things sometimes can be perceived as risky. So we are constantly having that conversation. Yeah, but
brilliant. Yeah, great response, and thank you, Sid, for the question. Stephen Brett, Stephen's asking is, can your technology assist with the current focus on energy transition, i.e. electrification?
Yeah, I mean, to broaden the answer out for a catch-all, most of what we do is an enabler for work in general. So if brownfield assets, difficult places to get to, bed constraints, etc., if we've digitized them and we have an as-built model of a brownfield asset, then that's an enabler for pretty much all work.
Yeah.
There is restrictions in that, that we don't capture every single square millimeter of the platform, but as for conceptual design and feed, it's absolutely right for that. So yeah, it can assist as an enabler into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Stephen. A great RBI, as we know it, says Grant will need to change to take advantage of the saving potentials that can be utilized through this tech. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. And just before we crack back on with your section, Helen says some industries do not have the level of maturity which oil and gas has. Only just embracing RBI or risk-based thinking, as well as managing assets generally. Do you still have the flexibility for those industries that are just exploring the RBI as an initial concept?
Yeah. Hi, Helen. Fantastic. Point. And the maturity of the essentially the end user is a consideration in this. A very interesting point, and goes back to your other question, Eric, about the oil and gas industry. We are advanced, and we used to be seen as a sleepy, archaic industry. We're advanced now compared to some other industries and some other parts of the world. Do we still have flexibility for those industries? GDI does. Our workflow can be broken up and taken in piecemeal. So we aren't a large sort of juggernaut business which will implement significant change across an industry. We're very much plug and play by design of our business and approach. But it's a key consideration that it's doesn't fit all, and we need to consider that if we are moving into other industries, I guess is the best way.
Totally. Just that last one coming through. Barry from Aces Offshore, like GDI, our core business and significant foothold is in the UKCS, with growth coming from international clients, Australia, Asia, etc. Often attitudes and approaches to asset integrities in these countries vary, without a doubt. You've just mentioned that. Just getting back to what you're all about, if you read the magazine, which you were the front cover of this month's asset integrity focused OGV Energy magazine, your section in it has got wonderful graphics and all that good stuff, like holding up that photographic imagery of brownfield assets against 3D models and doing that sort of in parallel. So I guess that's the GD Vision principle. Now has according to the magazine, some 10,000 users globally. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. And
can you tell us a wee bit about Vision?
Vision, yeah. So Vision came through I'll continue to call them the OGTC because I always get the new.
I do it too.
But that was
the New Zealand Technology Centre, as someone called them the other day on a call.
No. So that was the success story of GDI and the NZTC. That was the digital twin project which created Vision. The operators that worked with us on that. North Sea operators helped us to develop it, help us tune it to actually drive value and be fit for purpose for the North Sea brownfield operations. But since then, the expansion of that software solution, across the North Sea and across the world, has taken us by surprise, to be honest. The uptake in it and the amount of users that are using it daily, because we can see it, we monitor it, and it's fantastic to see. I guess it just is kind of testament to our very original premise about we need to make sure that this is valuable to somebody in the end, and it needs to make a difference.
Big time. Thank you for taking the time to take the lovely questions from our audience today. Just in closing, what are your sort of short, sharp next steps for GDI as you see it right now?
Yeah, short, sharp. Continued on our automation journey, and we see big value in that space. We're still listening to all of the end users of our tech and feeding that into our roadmap for development. But ultimately, it's to continue to ensure that we deliver. I mean, it's a good place to be when we're constantly delivering for our clients. It's not a good place to be when we're having conversations about failure. So ensuring that track record of success is maintained, and that's difficult with a growing business. But to date, we've managed it due to our approach. So it's just maintaining that would be the short, sharp answer.
Yeah, quite right too. Listen, it's been an absolute joy to spend some time with you this afternoon. Thank you for headlining this month's OGV Energy Live. It's been an absolute pleasure. We wish you really well in all that you're doing at GDI. and we wish you really well in the progress with 3 young daughters under 6 years old.
It's been an honor, Eric. Thanks so much. As I said, we don't really do things like this, so it's really special for us. Thanks.
Well, you did it really well today, so well done. You did us all proud, and thank you to the audience for asking such great questions. We will catch up with you later. Gareth, for now, see you soon.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Wasn't that great? Remember, keep the comments coming in. Well done, guys. You did a great job there asking some great questions. We're about to move into the industry spotlight section of our show, where we're going to bring on 3 industry leaders that are on the coalface in asset integrity these days. Remember, we have our prize giveaway, which is the best comment today, which is going to be judged by our production team who are hiding in the green room right now. We're going to give away a free advert or article of your choice in the July edition of OGV Energy magazine, just for putting the best comment or question in today. For now, we're going to bash on with the industry spotlight section, as I just said. We are going to welcome onto the floor, we're going to have James Fair from Vitasi. Hi, James. Oh, we don't have your mic. You might have to switch your mic back on. Just go into settings. There you are. I can hear you already. Fraser Balsley from PIM. Hello, Fraser.
Hi there, Eric.
Great to have you. And Will Buchan from Armley Systems. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Eric. How you doing?
Yeah, very well indeed. That was a nice session from Gareth there, wasn't it? A nice headline section. Some good questions coming in from the audience as well.
Absolutely, it was very good. Excellent listening to it.
So we want to put you guys on the griddle here. We want more challenging questions coming from the audience. Now that we've got all these high-dollar leaders from the asset integrity space. James, we're going to start with you, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
One of the joys in reading your piece in the edition, the asset integrity edition of OGV Energy this month, was the fact that you guys know how to create a headline, transforming refineries into mammoth smart devices. One of the best headlines I've seen in a long time. That was excellent. For those who don't know, what's Vitasi doing these days, and what's Vitasi all about?
Sure. Well, in a nutshell, I'd summarize it. We're a global asset management consultancy. We provide traditionally enterprise asset management solutions and asset performance management solutions. So that's my sort of 30-second summary of what Vitasi does.
Very good, very good. And so in your overview, you speak about asset performance management and enterprise asset management. For those of us who are just maybe aware of the headline of asset integrity, what is the connection of all of these bits? Asset performance management, enterprise asset management. How does it all fit together?
Sure. I guess you'd really call asset management solutions really as the system of record. Right. And to me, if I step back and so on from the real detail and technical sides of reliability and so on, from a layman's standpoint, view our systems as the shiny BMW, but your asset integrity basically is the oil and all of the capability that makes it work.
Right.
So for us, it's very easy to implement a system and find it still doesn't work because you haven't got the key elements of it. So really, this is the glue that makes everything work. And it really is critical in actually making our systems look good. If you don't get the asset integrity right, then the systems will actually not look good either.
Got you. Well put. That puts it in a much easier frame of reference for people just like me. Do you feel that integrity management is positioned correctly when budgeting? You know, when we're looking at spend within corporations and all of that, is it getting the cash focus it deserves?
I mean, I suppose the simple answer is no, I don't. It might sound slightly weird for a vendor of asset management solutions to be saying that actually companies need to be spending more on their data and other elements that make up the whole asset integrity management sort of the whole story value proposition. But that really is critical in actually getting the most out of the systems. Right. So we always try and say, look, make sure that you're actually working on that completeness first. But we still find that actually very often our clients are playing catch-up mode on that, often years afterwards. Right. So it's not something that's genuinely done in parallel. Now, it's not to say that you can't do these things or in iterations and say, look, let's really focus on the critical assets and then gradually work on the rest. But we all know the interconnectivity between some of these assets, and the fact that very often, there is another layer of assets that don't get the attention, which suddenly impacts production, all of the key elements that the executive boardroom is looking at, and they just wonder, why did that go wrong? Maybe we didn't quite put enough attention on that integrity.
My goodness. So, in a nutshell, how do you turn a mammoth refinery into a mammoth smart device? How is that done?
Oh, I think that's for another day. But actually, I think Gareth actually, I think, gave a good pointer to this, actually, in the way that, there is so much more digital information now available, so much more digital information. We've all had historians operating on key assets for years, collating data. You've now got a plethora of additional data points coming in, but you've also now got the analytics capability to go on top of that. So there are so many ways that you can progress beyond just working to the vendors' recommended maintenance. Very often our clients have got more data than the actual vendors have. Right. To actually improve, what the job plans ought to be. So, there's significant savings still to come out of not just UKCS, but we see this cross-industry.
Thumping comment coming in from Malcolm. Too many senior execs think that the EM project will fix the data by moving it to a new shiny system with no effort on the data side. We'll just read that and ponder it, shall we? Absolutely, well put. Fantastic. Rumor has it that Vitasi is expanding, that you're creeping across the globe. Any truth behind this rumor in the market?
Oh, yes. Well, we announced actually last Thursday, we were all in Poland for a strategy session. And in fact, we had our execs over from our own new shiny asset from Indonesia, as it happens. So right. We announced the acquisition of PT Talian last week. And it's a great extension for us into Southeast Asia. Vitasi's been leaders in the European and African markets for almost a decade, and this really extends that leadership into Southeast Asia. And there's complementary markets, so they have a significant focus on oil and gas, as do we in Europe. So there's even shared customers, in fact, who operate both UKCS, Sea, Java, and South China. So there's a lot of synergy there between ourselves.
Terrific. Great to talk to you. We'll have James here with the rest of the team for about another 5 or 10 minutes. So any questions coming in there on what James is talking about would be greatly welcome. Thank you so much. We're going to switch to Fraser Balsery, Technical Manager at PIM. First of all, how are you? How's things going with you?
Not too bad at all. I was having some flashback moments there watching Gareth, because Gareth and our paths have been intertwined in the past. We both worked at Cannes at the same time. I too have spent my fair share of time rolling around in pressure vessels, as he put it. And we both worked for BP at the same time as well. And just to cap that one off, I've also got 3 young kids at home.
Oh my goodness!
I've got 2 boys, so at least I'm on the right side of that one.
Yeah, exactly. No, not so much of a wedding payment pressure for you in the future. Well, potentially.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, exactly. Great to have you here. PIM, do you want to tell us, or PIM, what's your big focus at the moment? What's keeping you busy?
PIM, yeah. So plant integrity management, as we started off as 11 years ago. I think we've done the sort of British home stores, KFC type thing. Let's be known by our initials these days. I think. First of all, I want to say, from our perspective, I think it's really great to see so much conversation happening right now about the adoption of technology in our industry. I think, as Gareth alluded to there, certainly in the past, our industry can have been seen as a bit of a lumbering beast. Change wasn't forthcoming a lot of the time. Understandable, we work in dangerous environments. Changes have to be managed safely, in line with legislation, regulation, etc. I mean, I graduated from Aberdeen Uni back in 2001. Seems like a long time ago now, but over the past,
it is a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. It's really starting to realise that now. But, you know, over the past couple of decades, like it can seem that in many respects we've actually not advanced particularly far. So I think it's really great that we're starting to embrace the potential that new technologies can bring. And if you look at indicators of the sort of pace of change that has been happening, it's now 8 years since the Wood report on maximising economic recovery was released. You know, one of the sort of main threads in that was to do with you know, the use of technology for kind of advancing our goals. And of course, we had the push from what obviously was the OGTC, the Net Zero Technology Centre, a real big drive for us to start using technologies. And I think many companies latched onto this concept, but I don't know that everybody knew best how to deploy technology solutions. And I think that was particularly true in the world of integrity management. So we became sort of like dazzled by drones with ultra HD cameras, 3D laser scanning, like spectacular NDT equipment, powerful software, fancy graphics, that sort of thing. And you know, rightly so. That stuff's cool. Like that's
very cool.
That's got huge potential. You know, but how do we make best use of these technologies? Because technology on its own doesn't really solve anything. Like that, it needs to be based on like solid foundations of like having quality people and quality systems in place, and that sort of thing. You know, that might sound obvious, but it's easily overlooked. If I go announcing to people that I've managed to secure our UCAS accreditation to ISO 17020 as a Class C inspection body for another 40, you know, you're drifting off here. No, that's not sexy. No one's interested in that. Like people aren't talking about that in the work canteen, are they? They're talking about how cool drones are, the sort of thing that, you know, people can use at home as well. But having good quality systems, processes, procedures, these are the things that lay the strong foundation on which we can build that. So
how are PIM crystallizing all of that and bringing that adoption of technology through to integrity management? How does it represent itself practically?
So for us, it's really important. Like, you know, we built our reputation about having like good quality people that understand the problems that we face in the world of integrity management. Like that allows us to utilize technology to build on like strong foundations. So as well as employing sort of high quality discipline engineers, you know, with corrosion engineers, inspection engineers, structural engineers, etc. We also employ our own team of software developers. So these guys are able to work closely with our engineers, and then, like, you know, they're able to help develop the software that will develop, like, you know, real efficiency gains and optimized processes. So we offer two main products. We've got one product called PIM Relief. That's for the management of PSVs. And another one called PIM Optimum. Now that's a bit of software that covers the sort of complete integrity management life cycle. So it sort of starts off with you know, an RBA module, and I'm not about to grasp that nettle that Gareth laid down earlier. We're
a hospital pass for sure.
We're going to skip over that one. But you know, we've got modules for creating work packs. You know, these work packs can be downloaded from the cloud onto tablets for the guys on site. They can do their inspections. You know, they can like upload inspection results, anomalies, things like instantaneously. Connectivity allowing on some sites, and the reporting can get viewed by onshore engineers like basically live, and all that feeds back into the cycle. But the development of those products relies on that foundation of quality systems and quality people. You know, the principles from various engineering codes, practices, standards, etc., get built into the software. We ensure consistency and accuracy. It's important to have the right quality management program for building these things in the first place. So every stage of the process requires input from the end users. You know, if an inspector on site finds that a tablet is more time consuming and difficult to use than its traditional pen and paper, that tablet's going to stay in the cupboard. They're not going to they're not going to use these things. So we have to make sure that we give technology the fundamental building blocks that it needs to succeed.
Outstanding. We're going to circle back if we have time. I'm just going to give a bit of route. I love that. We'll come back and see if you've got any mic drop moments on practical applications of that. But that is excellent. So already a picture forming that what used to be nuts and bolts and spreadsheets is now becoming culture. There's quality. There's process, there's technology, there's all sorts of stuff feeding into this. Fantastic. Will Buchan, account manager at Arnley Systems, how are you?
Very well, thanks. How's
Sitting there
everybody doing?
patiently, just quiet as a mouse, just taking it all in.
Absorbing.
Yeah, quite right too. Quite right too. What is it that, for those who don't know, that Arnley are doing these days, and what's your main focus?
Yeah, so we're a software company, and given we're talking about asset integrity, so from that point of view, we'll take that manual process of inspecting equipment on your asset, so it'd be a platform, a rig, FPSO. We do have one distillery, so I take particular interest in that.
I'll handle this.
Yeah, that's my one. That's why I'm the
That's my one. Yep.
So where folks, I mean, Fraser, you were talking about pen and paper. People still use it. So what we do is we built the software that will handle all that. We digitize it, and we'll use tablets or smartphones. We'll then take that data, send it back to the database. We can hook into a corporate system, SAP or Maximo, and it's just, and Fraser, you alluded to that. So it's about keeping efficiency, keeping you compliant, accurate, and ultimately safe at the end of the day.
Very good, very good. I guess a question on everybody's mind is energy transition. Is this something that you guys are actively looking at? Are you involved in? Is this something that's current?
Yes, it is very much so. Net zero is what everybody's talking about these days, right? So we're about to release an upgrade to our software, and that's going to be configurable for the renewables industry. So whether that's wind or hydrogen or various other types of renewables, you're still going to need to keep on top of asset integrity for that. So we wanted to upgrade our software to account for that. So we're not just seen as sticking in oil and gas, but we can physically get into the renewables area. So we're talking to partners at the moment, which is great. We're pretty much good to go with this. Just, I was doing a bit of research on this, and obviously 2050 is the year that everybody talks about. So I know that for wind, for example, UK government's looking at hitting 40 gigawatts capacity generated by 2030, 100 to maybe 125 by 2050. We're sitting around 24 today, from what I understand. So, there's a big market there, and we need to be ready for that. So, and I think, the key thing, because we're coming from the oil industry, the key thing that we need to be thinking about, not just to survive, but I guess to thrive, is we have to be prepared to be agile and adapt where necessary. So that's what we're doing. We can see that renewables is going to be a huge growth path for us. So, we've got everything in place, good to go, ready to get involved.
Very, very much so. And it looks as if you're very much getting involved in Texas, because if you read the press, you will see that there's a bit of an Arnley Houston vibe going on. What's going on there?
Yeah, Paul's probably just out of his bed. He'd sent one in earlier, I saw. So yeah, we opened our office just at the beginning of last month. Also, just to push Arnley a little bit, we won the Going Global category at the Northern Star Business Awards recently, and that's on the back of what we've been doing in Houston. We've known for a long time Houston, or the US, was going to be a big market for us, but COVID put that on the back burner, and obviously there are some things that are out of your control. But we've moved out of that now. We're set up in Houston. Paul's there. He's on the ground. We do have a couple of clients already in the US, but we're just really glad that Paul's out there now, and we can see things. He's only been there a month. We're getting opportunities already. So we are primed and ready to go in the US. So, we're expecting some big results there. No pressure on Paul, obviously. But
no pressure on Paul. Paul, there's lots of pressure on you. Lots of pressure.
Things are looking good.
Listen, yeah, fantastic. Listen, good luck to all of you. Thank you so much for giving up your time today. We could have actually spent an hour with each of you easily on this topic. Fantastic stuff. Great. Thank you for sharing some of your insight and what's going on in your world, and all the best to you. And I don't think this is going to be the last we see of you on this show. We hope to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll say goodbye and see you later on. Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Bye, Fraser. Bye, James. And bye, Will. What a lovely section. Remember, we are giving away a free advert or a free article in the July issue of the OGV Energy magazine for the best comment of the day. Thank you so much for those who have commented. Gordon put a nice one in there, which I quite liked when Fraser said he graduated in 2001. 2001 is a recent graduation for some of us. It absolutely is. Fantastic. We're now moving on to a nice section of the show. We are going to bring on Stuart Broadley, the CEO of the EIC, who's got some interesting news about an upcoming event for us. Stuart, great to have you here. How are you?
Hey, great to see you. Great to be here. I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
Very good. Very, very good. Now, you've got some exciting news, and I've got a bit of a slide to put up. Do you want to, about an upcoming event? Can I put the slide up just now? Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah, and you can talk us through what this is. So here we go, if technology works. The Energy Exports Conference 2022.
Thank
What's
you.
it all about?
It's the 4th year of the Energy Exports Conference, and at last returning as an in-person event at PNJ Live in Aberdeen. And this is the event where we just put the focus on encouraging companies to do more exports. We're recognizing, of course, how it's not easy to travel the world and spend all the time and money it needs to invest in the time and the risk often with developing new markets. So this is an event which is all about, hey, we're going to make it easier for you. Come to Aberdeen, and for 2 days, we will bring as many of those project opportunities around the world to Aberdeen. It's all about convenience and making faster, better decisions.
Very good, very good. This is a superb idea. Where did it all come from? What was the sort of eureka moment?
Yeah, so I've been privileged to be CEO of EIC now for 6 years. Right. And when I took this role, it was soon after the 14-15 oil crisis. So I was out there talking to companies, trying to understand, what they were doing. And one of the things that struck me were there were a few that were exporting their way out of the crisis, which was pretty inspiring. But there were many more that were not. And in fact, since then, still every year, of all the strategies that companies use to grow, developing new export markets, really since that oil crisis, which had such a damaging effect on companies. Most companies now regard developing new export markets as really hard. It's like the hardest strategy. So 10 to 15% of companies typically now would say that's how they're going to grow, through developing new export markets. That's not enough.
No.
Only 1% of the world's oil and gas market is here in the UK. That's it. 1%, actually, a bit less than 1%. So if companies are serious about growing, then obviously they need to participate in business around the world. And that's also true for the renewables business, the nuclear business, and so on. The vast majority of opportunities are off this island.
Thanks for that. That really puts it in perspective. We've got a bit of a crackle on your mic, which is cutting out some of your audio. I don't know if there's a quick adjustment you can make, or if we'll just run with it. Who knows?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. We'll carry on regardless.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Switch something on and switch something off and back on again and see if it works. So in a nutshell, there's you don't believe there's enough exporting going on today, and you've got evidence to suggest that there's export capability and capacity there for people to grab hold of, right?
Yeah. So obviously we've got a lot of companies today that are exporters. And they're brilliant companies, and we're typically, I think government stats say that the more companies that when they export, they are typically growing faster, they make more profits, and they have a longer life. So there's clearly this link there. But even those companies that are great exporters, they're typically still exporting to the same countries each year and not developing new export markets. So we've got this issue now where there are fundamental reasons why companies think it's pretty hard to grow new export markets. And those that have never exported, they find it pretty hard to export, from scratch and work out what's the best way to do that. It's expensive, it's risky. They can find other ways to grow, maybe diversifying from oil and gas to renewables, maybe innovating, or there's lots of different ways of doing it. And why choose exports? So this event is about saying, look, okay, there are amazing opportunities, but if you're struggling to get over that first hurdle of exporting, or if you're struggling and moving to new markets, if you're already an exporter, say to traditional oil and gas markets, but you don't know how to get to Boston, say for offshore wind, or Japan for offshore wind, this event is about helping companies to make that journey.
Fantastic. I'm just going to put the graphic up again so we can have a look at it. So 14th to the 15th of June, in person, PNJ Live Aberdeen. There's a 30% exhibitor discount for OGV community members. You can register today, and here's all the details for doing that. Quite an exciting show. Who are you particularly excited about who's going to be there?
Yeah, so it's an event which obviously it has some exhibitors and some sponsors and a kind of normal format, but it has things about it that are pretty unique. We have a lot of one-to-ones with key decision makers, and this year we've got, for instance, 5 of the world's largest tier 1 EPC contractors bringing all of their major project opportunities from around the world. So doing contractor presentations, so Wood and Petrofac, Bechtel, Fluor and Wärtsilä. And not only that, but then they'll stay and do one-to-ones throughout the time as well. So that's always incredibly powerful. And for the vast majority of the supply chain, it's contractors like that they work with. But on top of that, we've got 100 speakers over the 2 days. We've got some real industry heavyweights and thought leaders like Sir Ian Woods, who's, of course, leading the charge with Energy Transition Zone and positioning Aberdeen to sort of do what it did with oil and gas all over again. For energy transition. And I like the way that people like Sir Ian talk about what we're trying to do here, which is what we did with oil and gas in Aberdeen. So if you go anywhere in the world now, you will meet people from Scotland who have sort of moved around the world, but they came out of Scottish heritage of oil and gas. So it's truly a global industry where it is fair to say a lot of that came from original work done in Scotland. We want to do the same now for green hydrogen, for floating offshore wind, for blue hydrogen. That's the ambition. We'll also have Louise Kingham, who's UK head for BP, talking about how to make Britain the home for energy transition. So there's a real trend here of making us real strength, real depth and strength in capability in these new technologies, and then taking that and exporting it around the world. We also have 10 country delegations coming in from around the world. I mean, from Africa and from Europe, in a delegation from Japan that's coming. Mm-hmm. We have nearly 20 businesses coming from Japan, including most of the major players for offshore wind and most of the EPCs from there. So yeah, we're very lucky. We've got some great organizations traveling in, and we just want to make sure that we get all the right British supply chain companies there to take advantage of that and to showcase their capabilities.
Oh, terrific! It's already sounding incredibly exciting. So, what should if someone decides to back this horse and come along to this particular event, what can they expect to take away from it? What's going to be the sort of overriding takeaways for them?
What they'll take away is they've met people that they can directly win business from, or if they've not exported before, then they've learned the lessons from others who are experienced exporters, and they've gained the support they need from export advisors and agencies like UK Export Finance, British government, Scottish government. And this is an event which is run by industry and government for industry. So it's a collaborative event, not just an EIC event. So it's a kind of really super efficient way. Spend 2 days and then so much about work that's out there for you that it would have taken you a year probably to research if you decided to do the travel plan yourself.
So just a reminder in closing, we're perfectly on time. You're time served at this. You're just absolutely spot on. You took us right up to the perfect moment. Just a reminder, the 14th and 15th of June, in person, PNJ Live Aberdeen, the Energy Exports Conference 2022. And there's a discount here if you're an OGV member. Fantastic. And absolutely, super good luck with all of that. It sounds like a wonderful event. And thank you for joining us today. It's brilliant.
Great, thank you. All the best. Hope to see you there.
Outstanding. See you soon, Stuart. Bye-bye. Wasn't that great? Absolutely superb. Thanks to Stuart for coming on and telling us all about that exciting event, which is very relevant, all about export. We're now into the Market Watch section of our show. So we are going to bring on Teresa Wilkie from Westwood Global, if I can just get the buttons absolutely right. And if I'm not mistaken, Stuart's colleague, Neil Golding. How are you guys?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Not bad at all. It's been a lovely show so far. And I know that this is a favorite part. People really enjoy this part of the show. So I think if we can just swing over to Teresa first. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Teresa, you normally bring some lovely slides that we all look forward to. Do you want to take us through those first off?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you're an expert now with all the buttons, so you can just flash through this easily.
Okay, let's try.
He says that.
I know, it's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. Everyone's staring at you. Any questions coming in about that event? Any questions coming in for Teresa or Neil? Just fire them into the comments there. Thank you so much. And I will now pull up your slides.
Excellent. Okay, so you can still see those okay?
We can, yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, so just for anybody that doesn't know, every month, Westwood Global Energy Group, we provide market data for OGV Energy's magazine, and that covers the offshore field development side of things, offshore rigs, and also the offshore wind segment as well. So I'll just run you through a brief update from the May issue, which is provided by our expert analysts from each sector.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay. So first of all, just taking a look at the field development activity. So year-to-date, offshore oil and gas-related EPC contract award value hit $17.1 billion US, which actually represents around 24% of the anticipated award value for this entire year. Meanwhile, Westwood has also recorded 105 subsea tree awards year to date, which is a 75% year-on-year increase. So that's pretty substantial. So since last month, there's been some kind of notable news on the field development side of things, and that includes a final investment decision that was taken at Chevron's Ballymore field in the US Gulf of Mexico. And that's going to include 3 subsea production wells tied back to the Blind Faith platform. Furthermore, New Fortress Energy also confirmed taking FID for its LNG terminal off the coast of Louisiana as well. There were also several major awards during the month off the back of BP's TOPR project, which is offshore Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Total Energy's CLOV Phase 3 project offshore Angola. And just moving on to the offshore wind side. So since our last update on the offshore wind side, a total of 30 megawatts of capacity has advanced to the EPCI stage due to FID being taken at the Full Med pilot floating wind farm, which is offshore France. Also, since our last update, Italy's first offshore wind farm became operational, which is the Taranto 30 megawatt wind farm. Meanwhile, Total Energies and Duke Energy were announced as the winners in the Carolina Long Bay offshore wind lease sale. The 2 lease areas will have a combined capacity of 1.3 gigawatts, and they are located offshore North and South Carolina. Additionally, several companies and consortiums have announced placing bids to develop over a 1.4 gigawatt 1.4 gigawatt wind farm in the Netherlands called Hollandaise Kust. And then finally, last but not least, the offshore rig market then. So on the shallow water side for jackups, firstly, backlog increased by 51 rig years, and that was due to 38 new fixtures which were made in April. And that actually came out at an average fixture day rate of just under $90,000 per day. So that sharp increase was mainly due to high demand from the Middle East, which I think we talked about last month. And that accounted for 87% of the global awarded backlog. So contracted utilization for the marketed fleet was 82%, while committed utilization, which includes the non-working units that have future contracts in place, that was higher at 89%. Then within the semi-sub market, 5 new fixtures were recorded at a total of 1.9 rig years. And that included a 1-year contract awarded to Maersk Developer by Impact. That's for work offshore Australia. The average leading edge day rate increased 16.5% from the previous months to just under $297,000 per day. Marketed contracted utilization was 62% in April, with 52 rigs on hire. And but then again, the committed utilization for that was much higher, again at 81%, because there's a number of rigs which are preparing to go on hire.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, on the drillship side, last month there was 4.9 rig years of work awarded, and the average leading edge day rate improved by 20% to $299,000 per day. West Africa took the lion's share of the awards last month, with Total Energies awarding Seadrill's West Gemini a 1.5-year contract, while Shell awarded Maersk Voyager a 1-year deal. Current contracted marketed utilization was 80% last month. However, again, the committed utilization of the marketed fleet shows that this segment is actually almost sold out at 94% utilization. And I think I've stopped sharing there by accident.
You have? I'm sure you can pull it back.
Yeah, no, let me just stop sharing.
You just had enough.
I did. I'm not sure what happened. But I got to the last slide, so that's all that
Well
matters.
done.
What I was going to finish off by saying is just that you'll find a sort of extended version of what I've shared there on the slides in the latest edition of the OGV magazine.
Outstanding. Thank you for that. We always look forward to this segment, especially the mic drop when you're like, I'm just out of here. I've just had enough. I've just had enough. 4.9 rig years of drillship awards in a month. It sounds like that sector, as you say, 94%-ish, blah, blah, blah. Does it look as if it's going to be fully sold out? And if so, what impact does that have on the market in your view?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely headed that way. And a number of both operators and drilling contractors have noticed that the market is becoming very, very tight, and that current capacity isn't really there for the sort of increased demand that's coming out. So we've already started seeing some rigs being reactivated from cold stack. We've also seen a couple of new builds being confirmed for delivery as well. And I think probably going forward, we're going to see more of that happen. Unless something is something big changes, But I think, and because of that, day rates are likely to increase as well, because it costs an awful lot to bring a rig out of cold stack. I mean, you're looking at somewhere between sort of 50 and 100 million dollars to bring a rig out of cold stack. So yeah, doing that is obviously going to kind of bump up day rates. And we're seeing a lot of the drillers as well don't want to reactivate or sort of bring out a new build unless they have a significant sort of contract duration and day rate for that. So I think that's probably going to be the big change we'll see on that side of things.
Very good. Thank you for that. In terms of data and trends on forecasting for like big hotspot areas coming in rig activity, what's Westwood seeing, and what's your views on hotspots?
Yeah, hotspots. Obviously the Middle East. I think we've spoken about that a couple of times now. Definitely a big driver in the jackup segment because of Saudi Aramco. I think we're seeing a lot more demand coming out of West Africa, especially on the floating rig side of things. South America is really becoming very busy. Petrobras actually came out with a recent tender for up to 8 further floating rigs, and that's for 3 or 4 years each. So right. We expect that to get a lot busier. I think most segments, I think we're going to see an increase in activity, but those are a few of the hot spots I think that we're definitely watching. Very good.
And you're, if I'm not mistaken, you're packing your suitcase again this weekend. You're heading back to Accra in Ghana. Is that right?
That's right. Yes. So we're definitely getting out and about again as a company. So I'm out at the International Association of Drilling Contractors at the IADC conference for Africa. So that is in Ghana. I'll be presenting sort of a market overview on what's going on there in the rig side of things. Yeah.
Very good. And London as well. So for mid-June, you're just off on your travels again.
Yes, so I'll be going out to the OSJ support vessel conference there. So again, that one's quite an interesting one. We'll be giving an overview on sort of frontier rig markets and what the sort of supply and demand is in those segments as well. So, yeah.
And then you've got a trip to Gay Paris for the World Drilling Conference, IDC, on the 21st of June. And I like the fact that you're not speaking at this event, you're just supporting a colleague.
Yes, I'm going along for support, and yeah, because it's Paris, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Would you be so keen to support them if the conference was in Torry?
Of course.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your insight. Thank you so much for your help, and good luck on all your conferencing and traveling, Teresa. It's a pleasure to have you with us again. We will switch now to Neil Golding, Director of Market Intelligence at EIC. We recently heard from your CEO, Mr. Broadley.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yes. No, it's great. It's a really exciting event that we're looking to deliver up in Aberdeen during June, and having been involved in some discussions this morning, we could also now confirm Worley as also being one of the EPCs that's going to talk about their global EPC opportunities as well.
Terrific. Are you going to be involved in that one? Are you going to be up in the...
Absolutely. I'll be making my way north of the border once again. It's been a long time since I've been up in Aberdeen, so I'm delighted to be able to get travelling once more.
Yeah, quite right. And we can't wait to see you up here. Talking about conferences, you had your North Sea Decarbonisation Conference last week. How did that go?
Yeah, wow. There you go. Wow. No, it was amazing. It was certainly a lot better than kind of I remember real face-to-face events, frankly. And what it showed to me, Eric, it's really the sheer scale of the opportunity on our doorstep that's going to be coming forward across multiple sectors as well. Yes, we're going to continue to see the investment in the oil and gas industry. That I'm absolutely positive of, despite announcements that have been made earlier on today. We've got to decarbonise that sector, and the sheer scale of the electrification side of things is very apparent and really very exciting, and bringing in new technologies, wave technologies to help deliver the power for our platforms, our subsea structures as well, infrastructure as well. Of course, then floating offshore wind, carbon capture, hydrogen, and I'm not just talking about UK here for many of these sectors. You look at the Netherlands and the breadth of the opportunities in that particular market as well. It was just opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. But we've got to stop the talking and get going on a lot of these low carbon, new projects. I think that is
it fair to say, with all that opportunity that's laid out in front of us, horrible question to ask someone that's in market intelligence, is there a boom time coming for the North Sea?
Potentially.
You heard it here first. That sounds like a headline to me.
However, that doesn't come without its challenges.
Right.
We've got an awful lot of projects that potentially need servicing, an awful lot of finance that needs to be found to help us deliver these projects as well. Where are the people as well right now to be able to deliver? It was a common theme throughout the 2 days that there is this lack of skills right now. What can industry do to help grow the skills aspect and help us to deliver? Can industry collaborate? Words that we've used numerous occasions, collaboration. We've not been particularly good at it in the oil and gas industry. So how can we do this cross-sector to make sure?
So what were some of the answers that you were hearing?
That was the problem. Not enough answers. That we need to work more collaboratively. Again, it kept on coming. It was, we need to work more collaboratively. But it's also, we need a sustainable supply chain. This boom time, bust time is no good for anyone.
No.
And nobody wants to see that. We need to have a pipeline, a clear pipeline of project opportunities going forward across all of the sectors for these projects to then be delivered and for the supply chain to be ready to deliver these projects. Having all of a sudden a huge rush to 2030 when we reach the latter part of this decade isn't helpful. We need to bring forward some of the timeframes associated with a lot of these projects so that they can be delivered as well. And then nuclear, that is also, people aren't talking nuclear at the moment, but that is also another area where we're going to see, I think it's fair to say, some new technologies, small modular reactors specifically, huge opportunities. So there is a lot of push for new skills, a lot of pull as well. So it's extremely exciting. And I mentioned the investment challenges, finance challenges. Government has its role to play in this as well. And so, yeah, it's exciting. Boom times are coming. Can we deliver all these projects? Yes, but people are going to have to be brave and make investments within the supply chain now to help us deliver those projects.
So we're looking at skills issues and collaboration. We're looking at investment. We're looking at government. We're looking at sector services and operators all working together, as well as academia and all of this. It's a big ask, right?
Yeah, it's a huge ask. It absolutely is. But this is as well where, as one of the groups in which I sit on, the UK Energy Supply Chain Task Force group, we're trying to get various different trade associations talking to one another so that the supply chain is front and centre in the thoughts of both BEIS and Department for International Trade. Develop the UK supply chain, develop these projects to see them route the supply chain in the UK as well. So there are good activities that are happening right now to help support the supply chain to deliver these projects going forward.
Good on you. Good on you. And again, I tend to, I don't know why it is, but whenever you come on, I feel like asking you really tricky questions. And someone's come on with a lovely note there. Stephen Brett, just to confirm, the decarbonisation conference was very good. There you go. You heard it here first. Yeah. You heard it here first. It was very good indeed. Thank you for that, Stephen. Given the sustained high oil and gas prices, by goodness, we're seeing the impact of that in our fuel bills, whether we're standing at the pumps or waiting for the letters to fall through the door or into our online accounts. Are we seeing a commensurate pickup in global upstream sector, or is there an imbalance?
Yes, in short, and I think Teresa's slides indicated that in terms of the drilling activity and rig availability. I think as well what we're seeing, whilst the new developments moving forward and certain new discoveries still remains relatively low this year, it's the number of projects that have been put on hold and again are now moving forward once more. And that's not unique just to the upstream industry, but that's also something that we're seeing certainly, absolutely in the midstream side of things at the moment. And there are projects in India, DWN 98-2, cluster 3.
Rolls off the tongue. Off the tongue.
They absolutely love the names of these projects in the Krishna Godavari Basin. For those that are interested, but this is a project that has been on hold for so long. It's just never really gained any momentum. But that project, again, we've seen pre-feed contract awarded there. We saw a slow Senegal. Yes, it's a very exciting market, and there's been activity in the Greater Tortue, but Woodside's developments as well linked to the SNE discovery. Things again picking up in that area, drilling once more due to happen as well. So all in all, it's just pointing right now to taking advantage of that oil and gas price, but also a recognition now, energy security, the importance of energy security, and how oil and gas is going to have an integral role to play to help us meet the needs of, like I say, everyone, to ensure that we don't continue to see increase in the pocket.
Very good, very good. It's always lovely. I look forward to this particular section of our show. It's lovely to have you guys with us. Good luck on all your events and all your travel, and thank you for sharing your insight and not predictions. I think it's a horrible thing to say. Your proper intelligence, right? Proper intelligence on what's going on. And we look forward to seeing you guys next month. But for now, thank you so much, and we will let you go. Teresa, Neil, see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Eric. All the best. Take care.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye. We are now moving into the closing section of our show. This is OGV Community News. This is an opportunity for us to bring on some of our community members at OGV on to just talk about what's happening, some of the nice new things that are happening. So I'm going to start by bringing on, let me see, to my left, Angela Scott from QHSE Aberdeen. Hello, Angela.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
Nice to see you. I'm going to bring on Cheryl Newman from Appetite for Business 365. Hello. How are you, Cheryl?
How are you? I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Absolutely terrific. And I'm going to bring on Lee Reid from AMS Global. How are you, Lee?
Great, thank you. And yourself?
Oh, just wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful. I'm going to start with let me see. I'm going to start with Cheryl, if that's okay. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
The reason I've started with you, Cheryl, is because no doubt you've just come from and have to go to another awards ceremony where you're winning an award.
Oh, no.
How's life been? You have been off winning awards and all of that. For those who don't know what Appetite for Business is all about, could you give us the whole 30-second elevator speech about what you do in the world?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a niche provider. So we support businesses by helping them to get the most out of their Microsoft 365. We've all got it. Most companies have got it installed. They often think it's just email, but it's actually quite a transformational toolkit in helping you to really automate and grow your business and create some real efficiency. So yeah, it's been really, really busy this month, to be honest. It's been good. It's been exciting.
My goodness. And busy in the fact that you're delivering great projects, you're doing new stuff, you're developing new stuff, but you are actually, you do win a lot of awards. You won a lovely award recently. What was the most recent?
Yeah, so we recently won the Scotland IS, of which I'm most proud of that, because obviously that is our tech community. It's something we're very passionate about supporting. And yeah, we won Best Workplace, and kind of as a leader, I'm really about supporting my team, because if I support my team, look after my team, then they look after our customers. So it's an absolute win-win. So it was an absolute pleasure. It was an absolute shock and surprise, but I was so delighted. Thrilled.
Yeah, I suppose that goes maybe touches the core a little bit more, because if you win an award for a product, if you win an award for a service or whatever, that's terrific. We all love that. But the fact is, it's for Best Workplace.
Yeah, it's all about culture and values and being true to who you are and sticking to those. And I think we've always been very true to ourselves from the start when the business started 6 years ago. And we literally do live by the culture. So yeah, it meant so much. It meant an absolute lot. And it's a testament to the team for what they've done during COVID and supported me during COVID and what we've done for our customers. So yeah, it meant a huge amount.
Fantastic. Really, really pleased for you. I think everyone that knows you and is behind the Appetite for Business journey. It's wonderful to see. You touched on COVID. You touched on the fact that COVID lockdown has forced all of us as business leaders, business owners, directors, managers, whatever, to deal with the whole hybrid working thing, which is just messing with a lot of people's heads right now. You're trying to make that easier for people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I know there's probably messages coming out from government about return to work, but I think hybrid's certainly the way to stay for a long time.
Not in Alan Sugar's mind.
No, in Alan Sugar's mind, no. I think we've all realised there's a good work-life balance to be had in working in this way, and I think for companies, technology will enable that, and absolutely. And I think also the drive for the net zero to be more efficient, to cut down on travel. I know everyone likes their air miles with British Airways, but unfortunately, I think if we want to try and reduce paper usage in businesses, this is the way to do it, and it's a really easy, quick win way to do it as well.
Outstanding. And talking about quick wins, I know this is always a horrible question to ask people, any big contract wins that you're really proud of, or that are interesting, or new or different?
Yeah, I'm not going to name names, but we were recently invited by a very large public sector customer. They've been trying to do a deployment for 18 months, hadn't moved forward in any way at all. So they took us in as an almost secret advisor, if you will, to get them on the right path. So they're now in a really super strong place. We're really proud of that. They're armed with the information they needed to enable them to make the right decisions for their business. So yeah, we've done that. We've also been working with a company in Houston, a very big, fast-growing energy company in Houston, who approached us directly because of the work we've been doing to support their framework and governance. So that was really exciting, and that was like, wow, it was a really happy day in here today. Like, yes. First US client. This is really exciting.
Yeah, fabulous.
Yeah, so we've had some great wins this month. So we're really proud and just keep working hard to keep the customers happy.
Oh, outstanding. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's always lovely to see you and hear the story. Angela, all right to come to you next?
Sure.
First of all, you made us all very jealous this morning with your post about that lovely high tea you had at the Marcliffe yesterday.
I know, it was really nice.
I know, it looked fabulous. You made us all hungry, and you made us all jealous. I think the clue's probably in the title, but for most people who don't know, QHSE Aberdeen, what is it that you guys do?
Okay, so our core business is helping our clients with ISO certification. Generally, we help businesses with ISO management systems, carbon neutral verification, risk assessments, audits. FPAL, SQL questionnaires, that sort of thing. So it was good to hear Fraser of PIM talking about the importance of ISO management systems and having these policies and procedures in place.
Big time, big time. It links threads through every aspect of our business, right? Absolutely. Similar question to the one I asked Cheryl. Any juicy info you can share with us on recent awards or anything that you're particularly proud of or new or different?
We recently won the customer first category on the Northern Star Business Awards, so that was fantastic. It's the first award that we had entered, so it was great. It was good for our team because we've all been working really hard, so it was very well deserved.
No, outstanding, fantastic, and you know, it'd be nice to think that there are companies that are growing right now in terms of staff numbers and all of that. Are you bringing on people, or are you holding fast?
Well, we're still looking. We're kind of always recruiting for people, but over the past couple of years, we've more than doubled the size of our small team. So pre-COVID, there was only 4 of us. There's 12 of us now. Our most recent start was Reza Emin just a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
He's come to us from Realm Fire Security. So he's doing really well. He's just done his lead auditor course this week. So that'll be good getting him up and going. And
yeah, totally.
So we're still looking for another one. So we're looking for another senior QHSE advisor at the moment. And that should
you heard it here first. Looking for another senior QHSE advisor. Yeah. Absolutely. Brilliant. For all you QHSE advisors out there, Angela is in the market for your products and services, or your services. Yeah, fantastic. We're aware of your free client portal that you've developed, and I think there might have been a bit of a collaboration with someone else on the screen here, if I'm not mistaken.
We were just talking about collaboration. So yes, we tried to develop some kind of software for our clients, but it didn't work very well. So we decided to go down the road of a free client portal, and Cheryl and her team at Appetite for Business have helped us develop a client portal on SharePoint, which works really well. It means that our clients can utilize the service and access their documents on our system, and our advisors can work on the documents, creating the documents online at the same time.
Fantastic.
Cheryl knows more about that. She's very technical, and SharePoint sometimes a little bit.
But you have it. It's helping your company, your clients work remotely. It's helping consolidate all that data. It's just fabulous. Yeah. And great to see a bit of collaboration there as well. Thank you, Angela. Thanks for being with us today. Lee, you've just hot-footed it from a conference, have you not?
I have, yes. I was down at the Marine Safety Forum at the Beach Ballroom today. So it was.
And how was it?
Fantastic, really well attended, really positive. Seeing lots of growth in the market to come in the next few years. So really positive in the marine sector. So.
Fantastic. And just for people who don't know, what is it that AMS Global Group are doing these days, and what's the focus?
So really they started off as predominantly marine surveyors, and I really need to get this right because my boss is actually watching. So
no pressure.
Bear with me, folks.
Word perfect.
So basically, started off as marine surveyors, and they've kind of just grown arms and legs, and they cover all aspects from the bulks, the cargo, still carrying on the marine surveyors, but also they've added a new business line which is safety. So providing life jackets, life rafts, anything with working to height. They also do training as well, face fits, emergency response training, also confined space training as well. So there's so many aspects to try and fit into a small section of your show. So
we hear that. Absolutely, we hear that. And you're relatively new to the business, right?
I am. Yeah, this is my 4th week. So
and it's going well.
Still learning. Yes, it is. Yeah, everyone's been super welcoming. But so much to learn. I don't know anything about safety at all, or the equipment. So it's been a real learning curve for myself.
Very good, very good. And it's a wonderful sector to get your head into, because it just, as Angela will testify to, it just broadens out and spans out into everything that we do. Growth. Any news about company growth?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously not only myself been taken on, but they've actually taken on 3 other people within the last 4 weeks. Not only are we taking on people, we've actually expanded and we have a new office down in Humberside, which is headed up by Brennan and Nicola Barker. So there will be more details about that coming up. And if you're in the area, we will be having an open day. So, look out for that and come along if you can. So it will be the same, putting out a lot, so a big focus on the safety side, which is supported up here by Martin Taylor, who's our general manager. So
fantastic, very exciting, and particularly thankful to you for running from a conference to be here. I think although you look very glamorous, there's probably a pair of Nike trainers on under the desk.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you so much to Cheryl, to Angela, and to Lee for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing your news and insight. And we'll try and keep abreast of your journeys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. We are at the end of our show. I would like to thank all of our guests today, from our headline speaker right through our industry spotlight session, and all of our other guests, allowing us a bit of insight into their busy lives and their commercial interaction. I'd like to thank the OGV Energy team behind the show, the producers Dan Hyland and Emma Davidson, and the designer Ben Mackay. We look forward to seeing you all again on Thursday, the 30th of June at 2 p.m, where the theme of OGV Energy magazine and the show will be offshore wind. Extremely exciting. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone for all of their input, and thank you for your excellent chat. I'm just looking in here. Sid, I'm just going to pull up Sid's comment. If I can find it, just give me 1 second. Bear with me. We're all friends here. I think this is the comment that won. So this is the comment. Sid, you are the winner. I'm just checking that. Sid, yeah, absolutely. This comment has been selected by the production team as our favorite comment of the day. So we are going to get in touch with you. We're going to get in touch with, I think you might be with Vitasi. I'm not absolutely sure, but we'll check that out. We're going to be in touch with you. Dan and the team will be in touch. A half-page advert or a half-page article is yours. Well done. Thank you for taking part. We will see you guys later on June the 30th. It's been a pleasure to spend some time with you. Thank you so much. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.